On October 21, 2016, millions of internet users across the United States and Europe awoke to a frustrating discovery. Many of their favorite websites and online services were inaccessible. Social media platforms like Twitter and Tumblr were down. Streaming services like Netflix and Spotify were unavailable. Even news websites like CNN and the New York Times were struggling to load. The culprit behind this widespread disruption was a massive cyber attack on a company called DIN. This attack targeted the very infrastructure of the internet, specifically the domain name system, or DNS. The impact of the attack was immediate and far-reaching. Businesses that rely heavily on online services experienced significant disruptions. Individuals were cut off from their usual sources of information and entertainment. The outage highlighted just how reliant society had become on a stable and secure internet. This wasn't just a case of websites being slow. For many people, they simply would not load at all. It was as if entire sections of the internet had simply vanished. The attack exposed a critical vulnerability in the online world, one that few had considered before. As the day wore on, it became clear that this was no ordinary internet outage. This was a deliberate attack, and its target was at the heart of how we connect to the online world. To understand the severity of the attack, it's important to grasp the role of a DNS provider like DIN. Think of the DNS as the internet's phone book. Every website has a unique numerical address called an IP address. These addresses are difficult for humans to remember, so we use domain names like google.com instead. When you type in a domain name, your computer contacts a DNS server to find the corresponding IP address and connect you to the website. DIN is one of the major companies that manage these DNS servers. By targeting DIN, the attackers were effectively preventing millions of users from translating domain names into IP addresses, making it impossible to access those websites. The attack was akin to someone destroying all the phone books in a city. Suddenly, no one could find the numbers they needed to make calls. Without a functioning DNS system, the internet becomes a confusing and frustrating place to navigate. It's like trying to find a specific house without an address or street name. You might know the house exists, but you have no way of getting there. The attack on DIN exposed the fragility of this critical internet infrastructure. It highlighted the potential for widespread disruption if these core systems are compromised. Gap 3S. To understand a distributed denial of service or DDoS attack, imagine a busy motorway during rush hour. Now, picture tens of thousands of extra cars flooding onto that motorway all at once. Traffic would grind to a halt. This is what a DDoS attack does to a network. Attackers use multiple compromised devices to send overwhelming traffic to a target server. The server becomes unresponsive, effectively shutting down services. The 2016 attack on DIN used millions of devices to flood DIN's DNS servers. The result? DIN's servers, overwhelmed and unable to cope, began to fail. This highlights the critical need for robust cyber defenses. The 2016 attack on DIN was a wake-up call for the digital world. Major websites went offline, causing panic and frustration for millions. Businesses faced financial losses, and trust in online services was shaken. Companies started to invest more in DDoS protection and better monitoring systems. This incident underscored the need for a collaborative approach to cybersecurity. By sharing information and working together, we can build a more resilient digital ecosystem. The 2016 cyber attack on DIN was a wake-up call for everyone in the digital world. It underscored the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. This attack highlighted the need to protect our modern infrastructure. Individuals must change default passwords and be aware of IoT risks. Our connected homes are vulnerable. Each smart device is a potential entry point for cybercriminals. Policymakers must ensure the security of critical internet infrastructure. Cybersecurity cannot be left solely to private companies. A framework for minimum security standards is essential. The internet's security is a collective responsibility. We all have a role in protecting our digital ecosystem. By working together, we can build a more secure online world. Now let's explore how everyday devices have become tools of cyber warfare.